everyone, you're welcome back to Data Nest with Angie. Okay, so in today's class, we'll be learning what cell referencing is. As a data analyst, you need to know how to reference a cell. And I remember telling us what a cell is. Okay, this right here is a cell. A cell is a point where you input your data. This is a cell, this here is a cell, this here is a cell, and this here is a cell. So you want to have one particular formula run through all of this cell is what we call cell referencing. It's like a way of referring a cell in a spreadsheet. It helps you use data from one cell to another. Okay, so we have different types of cell referencing. We have relative cell referencing, we have mixed cell referencing, and we also have absolute cell referencing. Okay, we are going to be starting with relative cell referencing. When you copy a formula to another cell, the reference changes. For instance, let's do this. Okay, always input with your equal to sign first. That's the rule for entering any calculation in Excel. You type in your equal to sign. You want to know what is the total unit of this quantity. You want to know the price. You want to know the amount for this unit and city, right? So you click on this cell, the cell you want to work with. This is cell G what? G2. Remember what I said a row is? A row is horizontal, all right? So 2 is a row and a column is what? Vertical. Vertical, G is a column. A column is vertical and a row is what? Horizontal. So you just, when you click on this cell, click on it and you enter your star. You hold your shift and type and tap your number 8, right? To give you this star sign, this sign right here. So you want to multiply units by quantity to get the total amount, right? So you tap on this other cell, H what? H2. That is what? Column H row 2. So you tap and you click enter. So this is a relative cell reference. So you don't want to do this, for every other item. You just come here and you drag. You right click, hold your mouse, or you're using your pad on your laptop. You just drag all the way down. Okay, so it sums up everything for you. So when you click on this, you come to your calculation bar, right? This right here. I don't know if you can see my mouse. This right here. So this is relative cell referencing. Okay, so as the cell moves from this cell to this other cell, it changes. Okay, I want you to focus on this formula here. So it changes, right? How does it change? It changes from G2 times H2. It changes from that to what? G3, right? Times H3. That is what relative cell is all about. So you want to know this times this is equals to this, okay? And you want to drag your answer all the way down to where you have data inputted in your cell. You don't want to individually, you don't want to continually type the formula every time for every cell. So you just drag down, okay? Saves you time. So what you do is you either use a relative cell referencing for that, or you use a mixed cell. So we're talking about relative cell referencing. As your cell moves from one cell to another, it changes. Your answer changes. That's what relative cell is all about. So let's do this one more time. So what are you looking for? Are you looking for G what? G4 times what? H what? H4 to give us what? 20. All right. So look at this. It changes. To make this easy, just say for relative cell referencing, as you enter a different cell, it changes. Okay, the formula is copied to another cell and it changes relative to a new cell. So I'm going to do this one more time here. I want us to understand row and column proper. A column is vertical and a row is what? Horizontal. Okay, so this figure here is under what? Column what? G. And row what? Row 2. Okay, so you want to know what is the unit and quantity price. You want to know the total amount for this. So you enter what? Column what? G, row what? 2 times what? City. And city is under what? Column what? H, row what? Row 2. Okay, so I'm going to enter it here again. So what you do first of all is what? You enter your equal to sign, and then you click on what? Instead of tapping on this cell, you can just type it out. That's another way to go about it, to understand row and column proper. So this amount here, or this unit here, is on column what? Column what? G. You type in G. And what row is it in? In row what? Row 2. You type in your row 2 and you enter your times sign. Okay, so what do you want to multiply G2 with? You want to multiply it with this city here, and city is under what? Column what? H. So you type out your H and then you enter. What row is this city? 10 in is in what? Row 2. So you type row 2 and you click on enter. So this is all about multiplying rows and column. Okay, so instead of us typing that out again here and here in this cell, what you do is you come to where you first of all gotten your answer, and you can see this little box right here. Just put your cursor there and drag all the way down, and here you go. You have the answer copied all the way down. So to prove that it's a relative cell referencing, let's see this. Okay, let's go back to the first answer. So you have what? G2 times H2, right? This is your formula bar. So you click on the next cell, you have what? That's changed from G2 to H times H2 to what? G3 times H3. So this is what relative cell referencing is all about. It changes, okay? The formula changes as you work in different cells. Do you understand? Please, can I get your comments? Can I get your review in the comment section? Let's see if you're understanding it, and if there's any way I need to make adjustments, I will. Okay, all right, let's do this back here. So we have product, we have quantity, we have price, and we want to know the total sales. Okay, so what's the formula again? What do you have to type in first? Your equal to sign. Always your equal to sign. Okay, so you want to know the total revenue of quantity and price, right? So, like I said first, you can just tap on the cell you want to work with. This tap times this tap, and you click enter. This is the total what? Sale. Okay, let's come to the next cell and do a different way of answering this question. So you enter your what? Equal to sign first, and then you type your what? B what? B. 133 quantity is under what row? Row 3. So you type your B3, all right? B3, and you enter your times sign, okay? And then you want to multiply B3 by what? By what? By column C, row what? Row 3. This number is under what column? C column. And in under what row? 3. So you type out your C3 and you click on enter. And this is your answer. So you don't want to be doing this for all of this quantity and price, right? So what you have to do is what? You come to where you can see, click on the cell, all right? You can see a little box. So you place your cursor there and you do what? You drag all the way down and you have your answer. To prove again that this is a relative cell reference, okay, you see that it changes as it gets to, let's start from here. Okay, this is B2 times C2. So you want to know what formula you imputed in in this other cell, you see it has changed, B3 times C3. You click on the next cell, you see it has changed, B4 times C4, it has changed. Move to the next cell, you see that it has changed, B5 times C5. So instead of you imputing formulas in every cell, what cell referencing helps you do is that it copies the formula for you. Okay, as you drag all the way down, it copies the formula for you and it changes. It's up for you to know, okay, or to authorize your Excel what formula you want to use. Do you want to use the relative cell formula, or do you want to use absolute cell formula, or do you want to use the mixed cell formula? All right, so this is all about relative cell referencing. And we'll be moving further to the next type of cell referencing, which is absolute cell referencing. And if you're getting to this point of cell referencing and you haven't subscribed, please hit on the subscribe button, like and comment as we proceed. Thank you. Okay, this is another type of cell referencing. Okay, and it is called absolute cell referencing. It doesn't change when formulas is copied or moved to a new cell. It uses dollar. Okay, what absolute cell uses, okay, to lock cell, to make sure that cell does not change, to make sure the formula that you use in a particular cell does not change, is a dollar sign. All right, so an absolute cell referencing doesn't change when copied or moved to a new cell, and it uses dollar before the column and row to lock it. Okay, let's see. So you want to know, you're given a table set, you have old price and you want to know the new price, and you're given a percentage rate. Okay, now the percentage rate is 5%, so you want to know the new price of this old price, which is 55. So what you do is, you click on the cell you want to work with, click on the cell. Okay, and you enter what? Your formula. How do you begin your formula? You enter your equal to sign. Okay, so what cell do you want to work with? You want to work with what cell? Cell B what? B, because this old price is what? Is under column what? B. So you type out your B. Okay, and it's in what row is this 55 old price in? It's in row 5. All right, you type your 5 and you enter your multiplication sign. Okay, what do you want to multiply this old price to? You're already given a percentage rate increase, so you just come here and tap. You can do the tap method, or you can just enter enter what column and what row this 5% is in. But I think for me the easiest is to just tap. Okay, it's faster to tap than looking for what row, what column is it in. All right, so for your understanding, the reason why I'm doing this is for your understanding, for you to have an idea of what column and row is. All right, so that's what I'm doing. I'm going the long way. All right, so we want to know what 5% is in. Is in what row? Is in what column? F. So you type your F, and this 5% is in what? Is in what row? Is in row what? Row 2. You type out your 2. Sorry, your 2, and you click enter. All right, so tap your new price. This is your new price. Now watch, when you drag all the way down, do you know why we are having 0.0? Because we've not told our Excel this is an absolute reference. You want to lock one particular area so that it does not move from one cell to the other, just like relative cell. Remember, relative cell, as you move to the next cell, the formula changes from A2, it changes to A3, changes to A4, A5. All right, so you don't want this formula to change from this particular row to this row to this row to this row. Remember, when you multiply anything by 0, it was 0. This cell here, what, is empty. Automatically you're multiplying your old price by what? By 0. But you don't want that to happen. You want, this old price, everything in this old price here to be multiplied by this particular cell, by this 5%. So what we do is you click here, all right, you lock this 5% you are seeing. You don't want, whenever any number here, any old price is multiplying this particular F2, you don't want this F2 to change to F3, change to F4. No, you want to only work with what? F column, F row what? Row 2. So you're going to lock this 5%. 5% is what? Is this F3 that's here. So what you're going to do is you're going to enter your $sign. Okay? So absolute cell referencing locks both column and row for you. It does not lock the both sides, so it does not lock this B axis and this F axis. No, it only locks one particular column, okay, and row, one particular row for you. All right, I don't know if we are getting it. So what you do is you lock your F. This is F, all right? This number 5% is under column what? F. So you lock that column. You enter your $sign. All right, I believe you know where your $sign is. When you press on your shift, hold, and you press on 4, that's where your $sign is. So now you move to this 3. All right, row 3. 5% is in what? Is it row 3? No, it's in row 2. Okay, this is the row it is in. All right, row 2. So what you do, you lock it, press your hold 4, you press hold shift and click on 4. That's how you get your $sign. So you are locking both F column F and row F. All right, so you don't want this number to change from this particular cell to this particular cell to this particular cell. So you lock what? You lock the column F. You don't want this 5% to change from F to G. No, that's why you're locking F and you're locking what? 3. F3. Do you know what this 3 is? Is it 3? Is 2? Please, we have to be. Yes, it is 2. This is where 5% is in row 2. So you lock this row 2. As you're locking this row 2, when you're getting the answer for this particular old price, it does not change. This 5% does not change. It is constant. Okay, so let's click on enter. You see. But if you click on this next cell, you have not applied the formula. Okay, that's why you're having 0.0. So when we drag, you see this little box right here. You place your cursor there and you drag all the way down. You see. So let's go. Let's to prove. Let's see. All right. So this is the first new price. So we didn't lock this one. Let's leave it that way. We'll come back to that. So let's come to this second new price. Okay. You see your formula here. Okay. You have to watch your formula bar. Come to your formula bar and see. All right. So you have B6 times you lock F log 2. All right. So this is what's this number in? It's in what? Column B, row what? Row 6. Okay. So this is B6. Because you have locked this one, fine. The formula next what? Let's see. To prove, remember this is what? B6. Okay, this old price 64 is in what? Column B, row what? Row 6. Remember is in B6. So let's come to the next new price. Click. You see that this formula changed from what? B6 to what? B7. Because why? Because you did not lock B7. That's why it changes. Okay. So this F2 did not change. Remember this 5% is in what? Column what? Column F, row what? Row 2. It didn't change. Why? Because you locked this row. You don't want this 5% you don't want this cell to move from this 5% to this other empty cell. No. That's why you locked it. You used your $sign to lock it. And you locked also the column, this F, because you don't want it to change. Okay, you want to continually use 5% to multiply all of these old price. That's why you locked it. So it's not going to change. If you click on the next answer or the next new price answer, see, it didn't change because you lock it. That's what absolute referencing is. Absolute referencing, you lock the row and you lock the column. Okay, you see here, you see this old price change from B7 to what? To B8. Because why? You did not lock it because you want to know what is the old price and the new price. You already been given numbers. So you want to know the new price. So you don't want these ones. You don't want this one to remain stagnant. So you just leave it. You don't lock it. Okay, that's what absolute cell referencing is all about. So let's take it back. I want us to really understand it. So let me undo, 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 undo. Cell referencing is how you want to reference a cell. You give your Excel a formula to use. If you want it to be a relative cell reference, when you are moving to the next cell, formula changes, or you don't want it to be a relative reference, you already have percentage rates you want to use to multiply the numbers in a particular column. So you want that 5% or you want that 10% not to change. You lock it. That is what absolute cell reference is. If you don't lock it, it will be relative cell reference. It's going to be changing as you enter a new cell. It's going to change as you enter a new cell. It's going to change. Okay. So, but for absolute cell referencing, whenever you have a data set like this, you use an absolute cell reference. So let's go back. So what do? You enter your words. You click on the cell you want to work in. You enter your equal to sign. This is, you tap. You come to your rate. What rate do you want to use? This is 5%. You tap your 5%. Okay, sorry, you have to enter your multiply sign, and you tap on your 5%. Okay, so what do you want to lock? You want to lock this particular column because this is where your percentage is in. So you want to lock it so it does not change when you move to another cell. All right, so what do? You lock is in what? Row 2. You lock, place your cursor there. You enter your lock sign, which is your dollar sign, and you don't want it to change from column F to another column. So you place your what? Your dollar sign before it, all right? And you do what? You have to take back this your cursor sign to the end, okay? You click on your what? Your enter. Okay, it's not right. Do you know why we didn't get this right? It's because we didn't type the right column name. Is what? Column B what? B row what? Row 5. That's where we got it wrong. Okay, so let's do, you tap. Yeah, so this is it. All right, and you click on your enter. This is your answer. Okay, so you can do it either way. All right, you can do it either way. Let's try the other way round. So equals to, you can start with your percentage rate. Okay, you mustn't start with your old price cell. You can start either way, but you just have to understand the principle, where to apply this absolute cell principle. Where to apply it in this scenario is where your percentage rate increase, because it is only one cell that has 5%, right? So this is where you're going to be applying this principle. So you tap on your 5%, you enter your multiplication sign, and then you tap on what cell do you want to multiply that with. You tap this other cell. So what are you locking? Remember, you are locking your percentage increase rate, which is this 5%, and it is what? Under column what? Column what? F, row what? Row 2. So you come to your formula bar here and add your what? Your dollar sign. Add your dollar sign, you lock column what? Column F, and you lock row what? Row 2. And you click on your what? Enter sign. All right, so that's all to know about absolute cell referencing. So you just drag all the way down. The formula will apply to the other cells for you. So here you go. This is all you need to know about cell referencing. You need to know where to lock, when to lock a cell. Do you want to lock a particular column and a row? Okay, you need to know when to apply that. All right, we are moving next to the other type of cell referencing, which is called what? Mixed cell referencing. Mixed cell referencing, the only column or row is fixed, so you just pick one. You can't lock column and lock row. No, you can either lock column or you either lock what? Row. All right, what did I say? You either lock column or you either lock row. For absolute cell referencing, you lock both the column and the row, right? But for mixed cell referencing, you pick one that you want to lock. Do you want to lock just the column or do you want to lock just the row? So it's up to you. All right, so let's get started. Mixed cell referencing, you get to just lock what? A row. You choose what you want to lock. is either you lock a row or you lock a column. You cannot lock both row and column. You choose just one that you want to what? You want to lock. So let's start. You click on the cell you want to work with. You have what? Column B what? B2. Column C what? C2. C is what? Column. 2 is what? Row. So this is column and row, right? So this is C row 2, D row 3. All right, so let's go. You tap on the cell you want to work with. You enter your said in mixed cell reference, you either choose you want to lock a column or you want to lock a row. You cannot lock both a column and a row like you did in absolute cell. Remember, in absolute cell reference, you locked a column and a row. All right, but for mixed cell reference, you either choose that you want to lock a column or you pick another one that you want to lock a row for one particular cell. Okay, so let's go again. I'm going to undo this, undo this, undo this, undo, backspace, click, backspace. Okay, what's the formula? You enter your equal to sign. What number do you want to use to multiply by this number? Is what? Column what? B what? B1. Because the number is in column B. In what row? In row 1. So you type your B1. You multiply by what? Multiply, enter your multiplication sign. By what number? A what? A2. The number 1 is in what column? Column A. In row what? Row 2. You enter A what? 2. So now, in mixed cell referencing, like I said, you pick either a row or a column you want to lock. Okay, now this figure you're using to multiply by A2 is under what? B1. So you don't want the number to change from B1. No. You want this B1 to be the same number that is going to multiply A3, that is going to multiply A4, that is going to multiply A5, A6, A7. You don't want it to change. So what do? You tell your Excel that you want to lock B1. Okay, so you tell your Excel that I'm going to be locking this number 1 on my column B1 because I don't want it to change. I want this B1 to multiply all that's in column A. All right, so what are we going to do? We are going to lock B1. You enter, how do you lock? You enter your dollar sign. Okay, you have locked B1. So it's not going to change. This row here is not going to change to row C2 to row D2. It's not D3 is not going to change. So you have locked B1. So what are you going to do? Come to your formula bar, tap at the end of the number you have typed, right? And click on enter cell. Okay, so when you drag, you will see that what you have locked will not change. You drag all the way down. So to prove what is 1 times 1, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, let's go to C, column C1 times A2. So equal to, you type your C what? C1. C1. No, it's C1. Times, enter your multiplication sign, times what? B2. Type your B. It's not B, it's A. You want to multiply by this, by A what? A2. Type your A2. If you don't want to type, you can just tap. Tap on it. You see? All right, so what do you want to lock here? You are locking this particular column. Why? Because you do not want it to change. Because what you want to use is in column C1. That's what you want to use to multiply what is in row A. Right? So what you do is you lock this row. Lock C1, you lock the row. After this column, this C is your row, right? So you lock this row. You click on your lock sign, which is the dollar sign. You come to your formula bar and make sure your cursor is at the end of the number you have typed, okay? And you click on your enter sign. And then you do what? Click on it. What's this? Undo, Ctrl Z to undo. you want to multiply this by a what? By A2. Click on enter. Okay, so to prove, you drag. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. All right, so your row is not changing. This is the row because you locked the 1, so it's not changing. Okay, so you're using what is in this row to multiply what's is in this column. Let's see for D3. Okay, so you want to multiply D3 by column A, what is in column A. So you do your equal to sign. D column D, type your D. In what row? In row 1, type your 1. You enter your multiplication sign. What do you want to multiply this column with? You want to multiply the column with this column. You tap. Okay, what are you going to lock? Remember, the whole concept of locking is so that that particular cell does not change to any other cell. Remember that, please. Okay, so you are locking row 1. You enter your lock sign. Okay, and you enter, and then you come click on it, click on your answer. Your answer is, and drag all the way down. Here you go. This is your missed cell reference. So just to make this stick to our brain, remember your relative cell reference, you don't need to lock anything. Your relative cell referencing changes as you move to another cell, the formula changes. That's your relative cell referencing. Your absolute cell referencing does not change. Okay, a particular column, you lock it so that when you are moving to a different cell, okay, it does not change. All right, that is absolute cell referencing. In absolute cell referencing, you lock a column and a row. That's for absolute cell referencing. You lock a column and a row. But in mixed cell referencing, you choose one particular row that you want to lock. You either choose that you want to lock a column or you want to lock a row. You cannot lock a column and a row like you did in your absolute cell referencing. No, you only lock either a row and a column in your mixed cell referencing. So that's all about cell referencing. That's all about relative cell referencing, absolute cell referencing, and mixed cell referencing. Please, I would like to see your comments. I would like to see your review. Are you understanding it? Is there anywhere you want me to make a change, or you want me to make a clarity? You want me to explain better? Please, I would like to see a review on the comment section. And if you've gotten this far in my channel and if you haven't subscribed, please do hit on the subscription button. Please like and please comment. Thank you for watching. Until next time, bye.